think I can probably answer that for you now. No.
Good morning, you lovelies. We got Mr. Donkey, Mr. Dan, and we got Mr. Nick. Welcome to the ML channel. These cars are super rare. So it's a Mazda 323 GTR. Before WRC, you had Group A.
Yep.
And they basically made 2,500 of these to enter the rally championships.
Yeah, homologated cars.
Homologated.
Yeah.
These are actually quite special cars for you because your dad used to have a 323 GTX, but not this shape, the earlier model.
Yeah, that's right. I sold that, tried to buy it back and it got written off. So this car was the one that he always wanted, and that was sort of in the late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, we kind of clubbed together and got this one like recently. Sick. As a celebration. Yeah.
Nice, and this is a 1.8 turbo.
Yep.
And how much horsepower did it come with from factory?
210.
Originally around about 6-7 PSI?
I think so, yeah, it's around that. It might have been 7-8, it was low, and then yeah, this one's running 1 bar now.
1 bar, so we assume maybe 260, 270 horsepower.
Yeah, from what
roughly.
I've been told without having it checked, that's what, yeah.
Mate, it's not slow though, man. I love this car, man.
Are they permanent 4-wheel drive as well?
Yeah.
All the strut tops are nice and clean. Turbo is standard, manifold,
Yep.
as it came from the factory.
Yep.
Things like the HT leads, they're standard or aftermarket?
They're aftermarket.
Stock original airbox?
Yeah, original airbox, just with like a K&N filter in it.
What's that, like a Mac valve or something?
Yeah, that's a Mac valve, yeah.
You say it's semi-forged, so has it got like forged pistons and stuff?
I don't know if the crank's different, but I know that the rods and the pistons are definitely different. They're the parts that are semi-forged, obviously, to make it stronger.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about the headwork. I don't know if they're different to the GTX, but they kind of go a bit mad with the engine for a little bit more power, just because they have to be able to use it. Yeah.
Keep it reliable. Stock radiator?
Yep.
You got different coilovers on it? XYZ, I've never heard of that brand. How do you find the sort of suspension and the chassis characteristics?
It feels really light, even though it's 4-wheel drive. This is like 1,200 kilos.
With a lot of modern 4-wheel drive cars, there's a huge amount of weight behind them, so they have to start running massive horsepower to actually make them sort of as quick as a sort of 2-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
So striking is the front bumper, man. It looks like a proper little rally car, doesn't it? Bonnet's very cool. These wheels, man, these Compomotives, straight out of the rally world. They look absolutely banging. And what's the chassis like underneath? It's really clean?
Yeah, the chassis is like the top, so it's had a really easy life in Japan. So obviously when it got good climate, and
you keep it dry stored for the most part.
Yeah.
Full-time 4-wheel drive with viscous LSD. So these come with a viscous LSD from factory.
That's it. Yep.
Cool, man. I love the back of these, man. They just got this real sort of classic look, and you got a nice little sort of rear lip or a nice little valance. And these weren't colour coded from factory. No. This is how it came.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, this is what they came like. Yeah.
All right, cool. What size is the exhaust system? I'm taking it like 2.5 Nick.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Inch, yeah.
And there's quite an interesting story in the boot as well, because these are actually specific to GTRs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And you got this kind of like massive wheel cover, which kind of robs half your boot space. Not that you're kind of looking for a practical shopping car, are you, Nick?
No.
What did you pay for the parcel shelf, Nick? Because it didn't come with one, did it?
Yeah, it was about 250 quid for a parcel shelf that's damaged. But
let's have a quick little look in the interior. It's super clean, dude. And these are all original seats?
Yeah, original seats, mats, yeah.
Suede centres, and then you've got your half leather on the bolsters.
What's the mileage on it? 98,000 kilometres, so about 60,000 miles.
Yeah, it's not 60, 70,000 miles. It's literally nothing. And now 93. My maths is absolutely terrible. That's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. It's done actually literally nothing in those years, has it?
Yeah.
God, it almost feels like I'm going to school, bro. Obviously, my mum's didn't have the leather; it was all cloth. But it's just, I can just remember as a kid sitting in the back of these things. And then they got speakers in the back.
Yeah, they've all been upgraded by the person that had it in Japan.
You got all your original carpets, centerpiece. God knows.
Apart from one that I need.
Oh, you're missing one.
If anyone's got one,
yeah,
I desperately want one.
Let us know, man. Give Nick a shout if you've got the passenger side rear carpet. We've got Razzo gear knob, stock 5 speeds, original gearbox.
Yep.
And we've got a little Pioneer stereo down here, and you've got sort of dedicated climate control, so you can actually individually set the temperature, which was quite rare for back in the day. Momo steering wheel, obviously aftermarket.
No.
Oh, that's original. original?
Yeah, it's not. They are an original steering wheel, but they did have a foam bit in the middle to make it so it was all like this.
Got a little boost gauge up here, and even things like the door cards are all in lovely nick. I know I keep harping on about the condition, but you guys mustn't forget it's 30 years old, this car, and you know a lot of these plastics weren't really made with longevity in mind, so the fact it's still in this condition is really sort of testament to the previous owner in Japan and Nick as well. Also on the back, familiar, because obviously they don't badge them as a 323.
No.
In Japan it was called a Mazda Familia.
Yeah. Manual aerial
yeah.
from the 90s, so got nearly touches the boot.
Things like the brakes, are they standard,
Yeah,
Nick?
they are.
Standard
Not very
brakes.
good.
How do you find the brakes?
Not very good.
No?
So, no, they're not that great. No, just a single piston caliper. So.
Okay, and then you've got standard pads?
Yeah, standard pads and disc, yeah.
We'll do a quick little start up for you guys just so you can hear what the exhaust sounds on cold start, just on idle.
2 boxes, like what's a tiny little box, and then that big back box and the cat still. So it's not when you're driving it, because it's older, you mainly hear like the engine noise and the turbo noise rather than anything else.
Right, hopefully that gives you guys a nice little rundown. Next up we're going to head out on the road. I'm going to let Nick drive first, and then once he's comfortable with me, I'm sure he'll let me have a little go. The handling's really nice, man. It feels very sort of taut. The chassis is really tight. You can really feel it through my butt. You're saying it's a little bit laggy as well. When does the boost actually kick in? About
4,000 revs.
About 4,000.
It's got a little green light that comes on the dash to tell you that the turbo's working, but it lies because it says it's working and it's not.
What tyres are we running?
Barrooms, they're like a spin-off from Continental.
Okay, what, like similar tread pattern or something?
Yeah, they were made by Continental, so they're like made by the same people. So.
Okay, so second gear pull for you guys. What I noticed as well when you're kind of standing outside, because the exhaust isn't overly loud, you get a lot of like turbo noise, and it's got a real sort of iconic like whooshing sound as it goes through. You know, like in the BMWs, you got the sound coming through the stereo. I was like, come on, manufacturers, please don't do this to us. You're going to absolutely annihilate us car enthusiasts with all this nonsense. What do you guys as well think in the audience? Let us know in the comment section what you think about the sort of the changes with combustion. Obviously, in 2030 they want to stop producing petrol, and it'd be lovely to hear what you guys think. I'm very anti it, as you can imagine. So is Nick. But yeah, let us know what you think. You're actually quite a big Ford enthusiast, so you're a big fan of like the old Escort Cosworths and Sierra Cosworths, and you've driven quite a lot of them. How do you sort of feel the sort of difference between the sort of Japanese cars and the British stuff at the time? Do you think the Japanese stuff was a little bit ahead of the game?
Yeah, definitely for like usability and the way that they drive. I think that the Japanese cars were the Evos. They came shortly after the stuff like the Cosworths, and they just were more usable and refined for like every day.
Yeah. What's the actual official 0 to 60 on these? Do you know?
I think about 7 seconds.
7 seconds. Yeah. And then top speed? I mean, it goes up to 100 kilometres.
112.
Oh, is it limited still?
Yeah, 100.
Oh, mad.
I'm sure they're limited to 112. Yeah.
Have you tested this one?
No.
Oh, fair play. We'll try it out later, guys. We're going to swap over now. Monky's going to have a little go, or Mr. John. Just do you guys a couple of little cheeky exhaust revs. Standard clutch.
Yeah. Apparently they're really difficult to get clutches for. There's not many people that make an uprated clutch for them. So one. Yeah.
And yeah, the clutch is easy because it's standard.
Yeah, it's standard. Yeah.
People love it, man. Like,
Yeah, they do.
Third gear. Turbo lag.
Lots of.
Yeah, I see what you mean, man. Yeah, it does take a little while to come in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's almost like a magic in it, in itself. Little second gear pull for you guys.
Yeah, they're crap, the brakes.
man, this car is so supreme. You can just feel it's just the lightness in the chassis. It's really hard to kind of describe to you guys the driving characteristics, but I can only just say it's just very nimble, very light underfoot, and you can really just feel everything. You know, you've got hydraulic steering, you know, you've got a throttle cable, there's no electric, no fly-by-wire.
Yeah.
It's just a very mechanical process. The box in these is the same as the GTX, apart from the gearing. It's the same gearbox.
Yeah, the actual casing's the same, but the gears are different. Yeah, so the gearing's different, and I think the gears are bigger.
I think it's short ratio in this.
I'm sure it's shorter. Yeah.
I wonder what your dad will think of my driving.
Yeah, he probably won't watch the video.
No,
He will. He will.
Like
He will like it.
Hi Dad, what's your dad's name?
John.
Hi John. Oh, it's John.
He's John. Yeah.
Friends in town. Rally car enters the building. And the suspension's actually quite soft. I know it's got aftermarket coilovers on it, but it's not like overly stiff. It's not kind of shaking us around.
No, it's quite soft.
It's quite compliant. Yeah. Is that alright?
Yeah.
We tried to have a little fun with the M4, but he's definitely not got the turbo lag that we have. We didn't kind of mention as well, what colours could you actually buy these? And obviously this one's white.
I think
Red.
white, red, black, and possibly grey.
My mum's not a GTR, hers was black.
Yeah.
She's always, my mum never has anything about black cars, so she's quite JDM, my mum. She had a 323 GTI, then she had a Celica ST202, so the GT front wheel drive, and then now she's got an Integra Type R DC5.
Oh, okay.
People are like, oh, I love your car.
Yeah, it's cool, yeah.
And my mum looks at them, she's like, VTEC! Yeah. She's hit VTEC twice now, so big on my mum, she's been into VTEC twice. That is a much faster car, but we tried, we gave it a little bit. Off the roundabout, I think we did really well.
Yeah.
Thanks to Nick for bringing the car down, really enjoyed it. 40 out of 10, because, yeah, like you said, it's not the fastest car in the world, but just the experience, the smells, and the history behind it is, yeah, fantastic car. 40 out of 10, really love it. And your friend was taking the mick out of you, of saying that you're going to be Insta famous after this car. So Nick doesn't want me to publicise his Instagram, but I'm going to put it down here anyway, just to have a laugh with you, mate.
You might be disappointed if you look at it.
If you've got any questions about the car, I'm sure Nick will be monitoring the comment section, so yeah, feel free to chuck any comments down below. We'll do our best to get back to you. As I always say, make sure you give the video a like, put any comments down below, I'll do my best to get back to you, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye guys.